Hello and welcome to this ClickFunnels review video, review or training really. The intention of this video, and by the way, my name is Zimmeron, thank you for watching. My intention for this video is to really hone in on how the editor works and just some of the basic fundamentals of it, because once this clicks, and it's pretty easy. I mean, look, the edit is really easy, but to really be able to see how powerful it is and how advanced it is, to understand a little bit about the structure of how the editor works really helps enhance the level of power and flexibility that you do have. Okay, so obviously one of the things that you do need to know is that almost any element, as I hover over it, you can see that these little boxes show up with these little options up the top here. Okay, and what you do need to know is that there are many levels of these boxes. There are what are known as sections. Okay, and the sections would be this main box, and the sections are actually highlighted in this green color when you hover over it. Okay, so a section is really like the main container, the main section of the page or element. Okay, you can basically have multiple sections that make up a page, but a section usually contains many rows or columns of content. Okay. So when you click on this is the setting for the section, and you can see when I click on that, I get a little pop-up that basically allows me to be able to select and change how I want the main section or the body of the page that I'm choosing to edit to look. So I can go in here and I can make it full width and just wide, medium, small, etc. So this is medium. So you can see that when I go back here, you can see it's got a certain width. Okay, this section. Now if I go in here and click on that, and then technically I could go in here and modify this and make it full page. And in that case, you can see already a change happened, and there we go, it's in full page. Now obviously I have a margin up the top there, so I would need to decrease this margin up the top and bottom to make this top bit disappear if I wanted to. Okay, but that's just, that's the main section. So you're able to then specify how wide and all the different ways and how you want that page to look. You can even make the section rounded as well. So for instance, if I go down here and scroll down, I can make it have a border. I can make the edges round. Let's look at that. If I do that, you can see when I leave this, I didn't save it. Oh, there it is. Yeah. So you can see there it is. It's now rounded. Okay. Pretty cool stuff. Now if I go to the menu here and click on sections, this will actually show me how many sections actually exist in this page. So in this page is just made up of one section, but as I said, you can have more than one section depending on how big the page is and how you want to basically break out your template. Now once again, I just need to emphasize that there are many different templates in ClickFunnels for all different sorts of purposes. So really all I'm doing right now is I'm wanting to just show you the flexibility you have to be able to change almost everything possible on your templates that you get. So you can literally build any type of page you want almost without any restriction at all. Alrighty, so that's how a section works. So again, it's green. Okay, so that's the way to identify it, and maybe they should actually have these buttons highlighted by the different colors. But so a section is always then made up by rows, and that's the reason why you have section, rows, columns, and then elements. Okay, so you have the main section, and then within a section you can have multiple rows. So here's row 1, and rows are in blue. Okay, so here's row 1, here's row 2, here is row 3, row 4, etc. Now you can name your rows whatever you want. Okay, so you can go here and actually, name your row whatever you want. Okay, so that way, if you wanted to make it easily identifiable, you'd be able to tell. But as you can see, as I hover over each row, it literally shows me what is in each of those rows. So I can see that this particular row that happens to be named step 2 includes this section of the content. Okay, and if I actually happen to click on that, it will then allow me to edit how that row looks and works, and I could change the background color and change the margins and even make things appear after a certain amount of time. I can have things fly in and be animated and change colors and all sorts of stuff. So it's really, really flexible. But the main thing I wanted to point out is that you have rows. Okay, and when you add a new row, okay, you can see that there's this positive button underneath a row. So that would mean that I would want to insert another row in between the next row, which happens to be this congratulations, you're almost there. So when I click on that, it then asks me, okay, so you want to add a new row. What type of row do you want to add? And I can add a 1-column block, a 2-column block, 3 columns, even a 4-column block, and have one with left sidebars, right sidebars, etc. Okay, and so if I go in here and I say I want this one, and then just click add to page, you'll see it'll go ahead and add it. Okay, so now I've added a new row. So when I go here to the rows, you'll see here's the new row, which I can obviously rename. Now the cool thing is you can also hide sections or rows or columns or elements. So this here is to toggle the visibility. So if I wanted to turn something off, I can. Okay, very easily. I can also duplicate any row or any section or any column or any element in the system as well, and then I can obviously go ahead and just delete it if I do not want it here. Okay, so it's pretty easy. Okay, so obviously if I had a row here with multiple columns, well, I should actually add it back in there. Let me add it back. Let me add a multiple column block back in here, just so that I can then show you that now when I select a row, it it's broken down as 3 columns. Okay, now I'm going to add an element into each one of these. Now elements are the content within the column or the row or whatever section it is that you've got highlighted. So in this case, I could just go in here and add, oh whoops, I didn't select it, add headline text. Okay, then I'm able to go maybe here and I want to add an input form maybe, and then here I want to add a date countdown. Okay, so there we go. So as you can see that within each of the columns, I'm able to now go and add whatever I want in there. Okay, so this is the blue is the row, as you saw, and then now this is the actual, what's orange is the element itself. Okay, now if I go to columns here, you can see here, each row has its own column, obviously, because it's a single column. But you can see here when I go down to this particular row, and you can see this is like row 1 has 1 column, row 2 has 3 columns. You can see it's highlighting them, and row 4 has 1 column, etc. You can see here I could, if I wanted to turn off one of the columns, if I wanted to, and obviously if I select that, I can then actually customize the column itself. So if I wanted to make this column different and I can just very simply, modify any element of this and change the column to be however I want it to be. I can add a border to it. Let's say we want a full border. Okay. I can go in here. I can change the background color. Something interesting maybe. Whoops. So I'm able to just go in there and change things and make it look however it is that I need it to. I can also go ahead and obviously add any images and things like that as necessary and change the background of this specific box. So when I'm doing the background color, you can just go up there and make it as transparent as you want, or make it as colorful as you want. You can see there it's changing it, and then if I actually click on the form itself, it'll bring up the element that happens to be the form, so that I can go in there and customize the form itself as much as I need to. So I can put in the placeholder text, maybe say name or whatever it is. I can specify that it is a name or a phone number that they would be inputting in there, or any address information, so you can specify what type of form it is. And then of course, there's also all these other styles. I can have icons show in here, and etc., etc. Now the thing is that when I've got the element selected, if I wanted to, I could add more elements to that as well. So you can see here, this could now be the email address. So I can build out a whole entire form very easily. Just like when I click on this element, which is the countdown timer, again, I can change what time I want it to end, the countdown. I can change the font, the colors, and all sorts of things like that, how it looks and the style, etc., etc. So there you go. Look at that. Okay, so I'm doing my best here to explain it so that you just understand, because as I'm hovering over you, as I said, you can see the different editors come up. So this allows me to edit the countdown timer. I can add more elements within this column if I wanted to, just like I added 2 elements in here, which was the name input, and this would, under normal circumstances, probably be an email input. And then this is a text one, that I can edit. Now with the text one, you'll see it immediately just brings up a little editor for me to be able to just go in here and change the text. And if I wanted to, I could make it bold and left justified and all of that fun stuff. I could add a link in here, but I also have the ability to change the element as well. So the text elements are dark blue, but the other types of elements are usually wrapped in that little orangey color. Okay, so the thing is that once you play around with it, it took me about half an hour to really get how easy it was to edit this and really play around with all the different elements. And once I understood how these elements were structured, it became so simple. Because the other cool thing is you can drag and drop everything as well to change the order. So you can change move elements around. You can also do the same thing with your rows. So for instance, if I wanted step 2 to maybe be in front of step 1, then I can just drag and drop it. Okay, and I can drag and drop it down. But obviously, it's up to you as far as what you can do. But I'm just again trying to show how simple it is to move things around, to edit them, and how everything is structured within a section. Okay, so each section has multiple rows. Each row obviously has columns, whether it's one column or up to 4 columns, and then within each column you basically have your elements, and that's what this structure is down the bottom here, all the way down. Okay, so that's what's really cool. Now obviously when I click on the elements, well, that's this is showing all the elements on the page, but if I wanted to add another row and add an element, and then you have all these different types of elements, and you can give them names before you actually add them into the page. I'm generally lazy. I just throw them in and then just edit them, and if I choose to, I'll rename them later. It just depends on how much editing I'm doing as to whether I need to track the names. But each one of these elements all offer different functionality and different types of ways of being able to edit your content and really make your pages look cool. Now, as I said, I want to re-emphasize that it was more of a training to show you how much flexibility you have in being able to really go in there and edit and change your pages. I didn't want to make any changes to this particular page too much, but I just want to show the power of the editor. Just remember that when you go back to the main section here, and you go and add a new page, and I'll just put in whatever name here and click Create Funnel Step. When I go in here, I have a lot of templates. These are just all the opt-in templates, and they're adding more all the time. I've already noticed quite a few new additions just over the last couple of weeks. Then I've got thank you pages. Then I've got again, webinar pages, all that have multiple different styles and different types of templates for you to choose from. Okay, so that is how all of this works, and that is how you'll be able to go in there and create the sales funnels that you're wanting to create. Okay, so as I said, I've been very excited about ClickFunnels being released and coming out, and hopefully this will have shown you some of the cool functionalities of the editor. And again, you might not really want to edit very much. You might just want to edit the text, add the video in there, and change a few minor things, so you can just very quickly just go in and out and build an entire funnel. But if you want to get more creative and change things around and really make your pages look extremely unique and fun, then you're certainly able to do that. I mean, as you can see, as I'm going through all these pages as I'm talking, there's a lot of different webinars, a lot of different templates in here that are ready to go. And as I said, they've already at least added, from what I can tell, at least another 20 or so templates since when they first launched this product a few weeks ago. Alrighty, so if you have any questions, any concerns, or anything else you want to know about ClickFunnels, let me know. Let me know in the chat, in the comments. Please leave comments on my YouTube videos. They are helpful. I do appreciate it. It's good to know that people are actually watching these and listening, and subscribe to the channel if you find this useful. If you don't, then you know what? Let me know if you don't find it useful, okay? Because I'm here, I'm a human being, and I'm learning just like anybody else, and I'm offering this as a way to be able to show you what this product does, so that you can make a more educated decision in purchasing. So anyway, thank you for listening. And if you're interested in ClickFunnels, click on the links below and go ahead and subscribe.